Mr. Wilson, you appear to have soiled yourself while unconscious.
I wasn't unconscious. Who are you?
Walk with me.
Yes, I'm excited for this movie. You have no idea. When this movie was announced, I've just been counting down the days. We are almost there. Emma, you were playing Cassandra Nova, who is Charles Xavier's twins in the comic. Did you look back at James McAvoy or Patrick Stewart's performance to help inform your own? And were there any particular comic storylines that Cassandra Nova was involved in that you did for research?
I did look back at those two performances. I hesitated before I did because I was like, do I want to get too close? Will I still be able to make it my own? But I found it really interesting how they portrayed someone whose power is very internal and telepathic in that telepathic world. Yeah, and I sort of wanted to see if there were any bits that I could use or pay homage to that obviously fans would really enjoy. But in terms of the comics, we very much stayed true to the comics in terms of Cassandra's look, with the cap and the costume and the weirdy fingers. But, and definitely, like, you'll see echoes of her origin story and her relationship with her brother are very prominent here in terms of her motivation, but yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. Matthew, Mr. Paradox is who you were playing. He's essentially kind of like a replacement for Loki, for Owen Wilson's Mobius character a little bit.
He's like an amalgam of...
Right.
Yeah, I think.
Was there any trepidation taking on that kind of like replacement of Owen's character? And how did you feel about filling those big shoes that he played in the TVA?
I have to confess, I haven't seen any of the Loki.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just sort of jumped in and hoped for the best, and yeah, went with what I had.
Tell us a little bit about Mr. Paradox, because that's a character that I'm not super familiar with.
No, well, he's like he works for the TVA, obviously, and he's like a sort of, I think he's probably like he's a sort of mid-management, slightly frustrated man. I'm worrying about saying too much because the Disney are very strict. But yeah, there's a sort of, he's got a sort of weird, angry, ugly energy to him, and he's quite charming as well. So yeah, he's an interesting character.
Some of the little footage I saw, I was like, I kind of like this guy. Now, Cassandra Nova was one of my favorite villains, especially in Grant Morrison's X-Men run. Are there any X-Men characters that you want to share the screen with that you haven't already, or even any MCU characters?
Ooh. You know what I've got a lot in interviews recently is people saying there should be a film where you play Charles and Cassandra, which would be wild, which I hadn't thought of. But that is sort of my answer, not that I would play him, but I think to see Cassandra and Charles Xavier meet, you know, everyone loves a bit of family drama.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, with Mr. Paradox being a part of the TVA and Loki also was a part of the TVA, now that he's the guardian of the timelines, how do you think Mr. Paradox feels about that?
Probably not so happy about that, I'd say, yeah.
Probably not.
I think if nothing else, Mr. Paradox is a slight control freak.
Now, you both work with Ryan and Hugh in this movie, and this is, a lot of fans have been anticipating this for a long time. Can you talk about sharing the screen with them for this iconic moment?
It's difficult when people drink in the morning, isn't it? It's really hard. Yeah.
Just sets a very strange tone for the day.
When they're both drinking, it's just difficult, yeah. So that was a struggle, yeah.
That gin, right?
Yeah, it's the gin.
It's the gin.
I know, constantly plugging,
Now with Emma, can you tell us what kind of villain Cassandra is and how did you approach the role? And because this is kind of like a career first for you.
It is, yeah. I was really excited to play. I think villains have the most fun. Agree?
For sure.
Yeah,
always.
So I was
Who wants
really
to play
excited.
the goodie?
No one.
You know, first of all, I'm a huge fan of Succession. I think it's one of the greatest shows that was ever created. And it left a Tom-sized hole in our hearts when the show ended. If there was a chance to reprise that role in a spin-off with Shiv, would you be up for it?
Whoa.
I never say never, but I struggle to imagine that. I think part of the lovely thing about the way we finish is that you just sort of leave them. It doesn't wrap anything up. You just the camera just goes away and they carry on with their strange and difficult lives.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Now, I know both of you guys have been a part of really highly anticipated projects with The Crown and Succession, but how has it been being a part of something like this?
It's like it's a different scale. I think, yeah, the greatest sort of thing that I've got from the experience of doing the film and then doing the press tour, which is so much fun, is just seeing how much people care. Like, the fan community is incredible.
Yeah.
People who've been watching this film since they were kids, but also films that, you know, you can come to as an adult as well for the first time. It's such a welcoming community. It's amazing. And it's a lovely, that's what art should be. It's a collective experience, and when the fans are so
thrilled about it, then inevitably you're thrilled to make with the chance of making them happy or making them excited and entertaining. You know, it's a nice thing. It's a collective endeavor. Should be.
Sure. Well, also, I want to ask you about working with Sean. Sean is a fantastic director, and I think that he is going to do such a great job. I mean, already the footage I saw blew me away. Can you talk about working with Sean and what his directing style added to Deadpool and Wolverine?
I loved working with Sean. Yeah, I think I respond really well to people who have like such positive, enthusiastic energy all the time, and he's just never off. It's incredible.
No.
And he never really seemed to have a bad day at all. Even though the scale of that set, everything he must have been holding in his head must have been huge.
Yeah.
You never felt it. He always had time. He always had patience and like welcomed ideas, but also was really, he really knew what he wanted. He was very clear in his vision, which is a very comforting thing.
Yeah, you have that, and you're not afraid to try stuff, and you know he's got the great gift of sort of giving, which as an actor is all you want really, is giving you confidence to have a go or to fail or to try something or to, you know, he's wonderful. He was great.
Well, look, the movie's right around the corner. I cannot wait to see it. Thank you guys so much for your time. You guys are incredible. Thank you.
I'm sorry that you had to see that, Yukio.
Boys are so silly.